At Christmas, while I was at work, my family branded my 7-year-old daughter a liar, made her wear a sign that said family disgrace, and left her hungry in the corner for hours. I didn't cry. I took action. 2 days later, my phone was blowing up with their hysterical calls. I'm a cardiologist. In my field, holidays and weekends are basically a rumor. Family dinners? Rare as unicorns. But that year, a miracle. A colleague remembered I'd covered his Thanksgiving shift and decided to return the favor. "Go home," he said. "You've got a kid. She should see you at Christmas." So I thought I'd do the whole surprise entrance thing. No text, no heads up, just show up at my parents' house. The door wasn't even locked. I walked in and, honestly, it looked like the aftermath of a frat party. The Christmas tree was tilted like it had survived an earthquake. Ornaments smashed on the floor, food spilled into the carpet, tablecloth stained. And my family? They were all sitting there, calm, eating dessert, laughing, holiday music in the background. Like none of that chaos mattered. Like everything was fine. Parents. My sister Bianca with her husband and son. My brother Logan with his wife and daughter. My daughter? Nowhere. "Hey, what happened here?" I asked. Silence. Mom flinched. Bianca dropped her fork. Everyone stared at me like I was a ghost. Finally, Mom said flatly, "That mess? Your Ruby did that. Take a look." My stomach sank. "Where is she?" Bianca flicked her hand toward the hallway, like shooing away a fly. "Over there." I walked down and stopped cold. Corner of the next room. My little girl, 7 years old, standing against the wall. Fancy dress ripped and dirty, scratches on her legs, quietly crying. "Ruby!" She spun, saw me, and broke down. "Mom!" She ran straight into my knees. I scooped her up. "Baby, what happened?" Then I saw it. Black marker scrawled across her forehead. Liar. And a cardboard sign hanging from her neck. Family disgrace. For a second, I honestly thought I was hallucinating. Too many shifts, no sleep. But no, this was real. While I was at work, my so-called relatives had been tormenting my child. I took her hand and went back to the dining room. She clung to me like I might disappear. And there they all were, still at the table, eating, laughing, Dad sipping his juice, Mom finishing her pie, Logan telling some stupid story, his wife smiling, jingle bells playing in the background, my daughter wiping tears with her sleeve. "You've got to be kidding me," I said, voice shaking. "You're just sitting here, eating, laughing, while my kid is standing in another room with a sign on her neck?" No one looked at me. Mom sipped her coffee, slow and calm. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I snapped. Bianca finally turned, all smug and self-righteous. "She ruined Christmas, Felicia. Knocked over the tree, food everywhere, dishes broken, and then she wouldn't admit it. Tried to blame Nolan." Nolan, her precious 9-year-old, spoiled rotten, sitting there with his innocent face like butter wouldn't melt. Ruby pressed into me, sobbing. "Mom, he pushed me. It's true." I stroked her hair, stared at Bianca. "You heard her. She says Nolan pushed her." Bianca tossed her hair. "That's not true. He saw her climb the chair. She reached for an ornament, fell, knocked it all down." Ruby shook her head, crying harder. "It wasn't me. I didn't." I held her tighter. "Oh, Nolan saw it, huh? And why is it you all automatically believe him, but not Ruby?" Bianca flushed red. "Don't accuse my son. Nolan always tells the truth." I pulled out my phone, took photos of Ruby, marker on her face, sign around her neck. Right in front of them. Dad squinted. "What do you think you're doing?" "Documenting," I said flatly. "Because tomorrow, you'll all pretend this never happened." I yanked off the stupid cardboard sign, tossed it on the floor, and tried to wipe the marker from her forehead. It wouldn't come off. Her skin was raw, red. She flinched when I touched her. I turned back to them. Look at her. She's trembling. She's telling you she didn't do it. And even if she had, even if she really did knock over your damn tree, you think it's normal to write on a child's face and hang a sign around her neck? Are you people insane? Mom dabbed her mouth with a napkin, like we were in some courtroom drama. We decided that since she lied, everyone should see her for what she is. That's called discipline. Inside me? Boiling. I wanted to scream until the walls cracked. But Ruby was shaking in my arms, and she didn't need more yelling. So I leaned in and said low and sharp, discipline is teaching, explaining, helping a kid clean up if they make a mess, not forcing a 7-year-old to stand in a corner with a damn sign while you all stuff your faces and sing along to Bing Crosby. That's not discipline. That's cruelty. Dad muttered without even looking up from his plate. She needs to take responsibility for her actions. Responsibility? I could feel my throat burning. Who left a chair by the tree? Who set it up so badly it tipped over? That tree could have crushed her. Why didn't anyone help Ruby when she fell and scraped herself up? Look at her. She's covered in scratches. Who takes responsibility for that? Because she's 7. You're the adults. And instead of owning your screw-ups, you branded her face with a marker. Mom shot to her feet like I'd insulted the Pope. Felicia, your daughter ruined our Christmas, our holy holiday, and you dare lecture us? If she hadn't climbed that chair, none of this would have happened. She took a breath, eyes cold as ice. We did the right thing. You can't handle her. We're helping. Helping? I laughed, sharp and ugly. If that's what you call help, then what's abuse? Mom waved a hand at me, dismissive, like I was some annoying salesperson at the door. You're too soft. You coddle her. Never punish her when she deserves it. And now look. She needs to learn, my brother Logan chimed in, voice full of smug wisdom. She has to remember this lesson. Oh, she learned, I shot back. She'll remember, and so will I. Believe me. I looked around the table. Bianca, preening, hair salon perfect. Logan, always convinced the universe revolved around him. Mom, cold as an iceberg. Dad, forever the spectator, never the protector. Not one of them looked guilty. Not one even questioned themselves. They sat there certain they were right, as if I was interrupting their noble act of discipline. My so-called family. Masters of excuses. Strangers to compassion. Then Ruby tugged on my hand and whispered, voice trembling, Mommy, I'm so hungry. I froze. They hadn't even fed her. They knew she was starving and left her standing in a corner with cardboard around her neck, and that was it. Something snapped in me. Why was I even still talking to them? Explaining? They'd never get it. And I didn't need them to. I didn't need them at all. Sweetheart, we're going home, I told Ruby. You can take her to the kitchen, Mom said with fake generosity. There's still plenty left. I didn't answer, just held Ruby's hand, helped her into her coat, buttoned it up. Quiet. Efficient. Before leaving, I turned to them and said, She's not guilty, but even if she was, you had no right to do this to a child. Ever. And you will remember this night. We stepped out into the cold, snow crunching under our feet. Ruby pressed close to me. I lifted her into my arms as we walked to the car. Mom, I'm hungry, she whispered again. And you know what? That was the worst part. That my little girl would remember Christmas not as lights and laughter, but as hunger, tears, and the word liar written across her forehead. At home, Ruby finally stopped shaking. I fed her turkey with mashed potatoes, gave her a slice of apple pie and hot cocoa. She ate like she hadn't seen food in a week. After a bath, I tucked her into bed, pulled the blanket up, and slid my phone under the frame with the recorder on. I wanted it all. Photos weren't enough. Baby, I whispered. Tell me what happened. Ruby's voice was thin, broken with hiccups and tears. Her eyes were red and swollen. Nolan said, the ornament was crooked. Said I'm small. It'd be easier for me. He'd hold the chair. I climbed up. He was holding it. Then he pushed me in the side. I fell. The tree fell. Everything fell. She broke down again. And he screamed, "It was her!" She rubbed her eyes with her fists, but the tears just kept coming. They all came running, yelling at me. I was hurting so much. I said Nolan pushed me, but Aunt Bianca said I was a nasty liar. And she hung a sign on me that said I was the shame of the family. Her voice collapsed to a whisper. She covered her face with her hands. And Grandma, she took the marker, started writing on my forehead. I cried. I begged her not to. But she kept writing. Said I had to think about what I'd done. My little girl was trembling, every word jerky, ripped out of her. I pulled her into my arms. I was so scared, Mommy. I wanted to run, but Grandpa and Uncle Logan held me. I thought you weren't coming. Inside, I was burning alive. To make her repeat it, to relive it. That felt cruel. But I had to know. I had to record it, and they were going to regret every second. I kissed her damp cheek and told her, "Sweetheart, none of this is your fault. Do you hear me? Not one bit. What they did, that's their shame, not yours. You're a good girl. You're brave. And I'm never letting anyone treat you like that again. Ever." We stayed like that a long time, holding on to each other. Finally, exhaustion won. She curled up and drifted off. I watched her breathe and thought, I knew what my family was like, and I still brought her there. People love to say, "You're lucky. Big family means you'll always have support." Support? Right. My whole life, I was the third wheel. It started early. I'm the middle child. Bianca, the oldest, the golden one. Logan, the baby. Our boy. And me? I was always, she'll manage. Bianca could talk to Mom for hours about school, friends, teachers, college plans. Mom knew every detail of her life. Logan had Dad, building model planes together, driving to baseball practice, cheering at games, their school projects, sports, achievements, family business. Me? I did my homework in the corner of the kitchen. No questions, no interest. Housework? Bianca was studying. Logan was a boy. Chores aren't for him. Guess who scrubbed the bathroom, shoveled snow, cooked with Mom? The third wheel. Birthdays? Bianca got parties with balloons and friends. Logan had sports parties, trophies, the whole deal. Mine? Store-bought cake at the kitchen table. Presents? Bianca got new dresses, perfume. Logan got a bike, sneakers. I got a coat, a size up so it lasts longer. Functional, practical, not special. And I was expected to smile and say thanks. No, they didn't starve me. They didn't beat me. But I learned very early the difference between beloved and useful. Bianca was beloved. Logan was the heir. And me? I was convenient. I clawed my way out. Med school, endless shifts, residency, fellowship. Now I'm a cardiologist. Brutal job, but I love it. And yes, it pays. Not that it matters, because to my family, I'm basically an ATM with a stethoscope. Mom. The pension's tiny, the meds are expensive, the roof is leaking. Bianca. Nolan needs camp. Ross didn't get his bonus. Logan. Piper's activities cost money. They all look at me like I'm a slot machine. And I pay up. Because if I don't, I'm the traitor. I was married once, a lawyer. Looked solid, promising. Then he left. Younger colleague, new state, new life. And me, left with Ruby. And how did my family take it? Mom. Well, with your personality, no wonder. Bianca. Told you lawyers can't be trusted? Logan just shrugged. That's the level of support I got. And with Ruby, it all repeated. Same damn pattern. Piper, Logan's daughter, 8. Smart and beautiful. Constant praise. Nolan, Bianca's boy. A born leader. Grandma's favorite. And Ruby? Quiet, straightforward, honest. Which to them equals ordinary. Everything she did was dismissed. Drew a picture? Anyone could do that. Memorized a poem? Well, Piper already dances in a troupe. I told myself, whatever. Words don't matter. She'll grow, find her own people. But words became actions. Nolan. I know that type. Crafty little tyrant. Always sneaking in a pinch, a shove, a kick when no adult was watching. And if anyone called him out? Wide eyes, innocent voice. Me? Never. He could sell sand in the desert. Adults loved him, polite, charming, a leader. Grandma and Grandpa adored him. The truth? He was mean and clever and knew exactly how to dump his messes on someone else. And Ruby? She'd blush, stammer, freeze, which of course made her look guilty even when she wasn't, just like today. He told her to climb the chair, fix the ornament. She trusted him. He shoved her, maybe even by accident, and everything crashed down. Then his voice. She did it! And of course, they all believed him. I've spent years telling myself my family had changed. We're adults now. We have kids of our own. Surely they'd be different. But here's the reality. Christmas table piled with food, music in the background, and my daughter branded a liar in the next room. Watching her sleep that night, I knew. They had done to her exactly what they did to me. The only difference? I'm grown now. And I have power. That was their last act of cruelty. The morning after Christmas started with coffee, and the gray shadow of the word still bleeding through my kid's forehead. Permanent marker. Excellent parenting tool if your goal is for liar to last longer than your conscience. I washed Ruby gently, rubbed cream on her skin, but the letters kept showing through. She sipped hot chocolate, chewed on a pancake, and I just stared at her forehead thinking one thing. Enough. How many years had I carried these people? How many times did I excuse it? Well, they're family. They're not bad people. They just need help. I'd paid for boilers, camps, sports leagues, car repairs, insurance premiums. I'd covered my parents' bills so their modest lifestyle could stay comfortable. Yesterday they showed me what they're worth. Done. Finished. I didn't waste time. Packed Ruby into the car and drove straight to the hospital. My hospital. My colleagues documented everything. Scratches on her legs, bruises on her arms, even the marker stains that wouldn't come off her skin. All of it in an official medical report. Now it wasn't just her word or my photos. It was evidence. Back home, I pulled out what I'd bought for the holiday. 2 envelopes with Disneyland tickets. One for Bianca's family, one for Logan's. Another envelope for my parents. A weekend at a spa hotel. Everyone knew. They'd been waiting. Nolan had been counting down the days. Piper had already drawn the castle with fireworks. My parents pretended they didn't like the noise, but had quietly asked what time the bus would leave. I sat at the kitchen table and methodically tore every glossy ticket into thin strips, put the pieces back into the envelopes, sealed them shut. It was the best gift I'd ever given them, and the most therapeutic. First workday after the holidays, I mailed the envelopes. Then I opened my laptop and handled the rest. Turned off every automatic transfer to my parents, extra pension money, medical insurance top-ups, utilities, all those unexpected expenses that somehow happened like clockwork. Faucet closed. Next, Bianca. Nolan was supposed to start his winter camp. A month ago, I'd paid the deposit, and the final payment was due now. I called the camp office. The payment won't be coming. The woman was polite. We'll notify the parents. If they pay, his spot is safe. If not, it'll go to another child. Perfect. Notify away. Then Logan. Last week I'd agreed to cover his car repair so he could get to work. I called the shop. Cancel my payment. Bill the customer directly. They confirmed it was voided. Not my problem anymore. And then the calls started. Bianca first. Her voice high-pitched enough to break glass. What the hell is this trash you sent us? Where are the tickets? I sipped my coffee. Those were your tickets. Now they're confetti. You've lost your mind. Nolan's been waiting. You promised. He dreamed about this. Maybe he should start dreaming about honesty. Cheaper dream. Click. Then Logan. His envelope had landed. He was screaming like I'd burned his house down. Are you serious? Piper's crying. My wife's a wreck. Yeah, I said. Now you know what it feels like when a child cries. Click. A day later, Bianca again, this time about the camp. They said your payment was canceled. I need to pay now or Nolan loses his spot. You can't do this. I don't have to, I told her. You're the parent. You pay. I don't have that kind of money, she shrieked. Then find a free playground. They've got swings. Click. Soon after, my parents realized the monthly transfers had stopped. My mother called, voice cold enough to freeze glass. Where's the money? It was due today. It's not coming. What do you mean it's not coming? You owe your parents. We raised you. You raised an ATM. The ATM's closed. Dad chimed in on speaker. You're betraying us. You've always been ungrateful. No, Dad. I've always been your dairy cow. The cow's dry. Logan called too. His car shop had told him the payment was canceled. You can't be serious. My car's sitting here. How am I supposed to get to work? Bus. At least the bus doesn't run on lies. And you know what's wild? Not a single one of them asked about Ruby. Not one, how is she? Not one, we're sorry. Not even fake remorse. Just outrage that I'd shut off their money supply. Just the same lines. You're cruel. You're abandoning us. We can't survive without you. That's when it clicked. This is who they really are. When I paid, I was support. When I stopped, I became the monster. That night I turned off my phone and sat beside Ruby. She was drawing. On the page, 2 stick figures and a Christmas tree that stood upright. That us? I asked. Us, she nodded. And the tree doesn't fall 'cause nobody pushes me. Fair enough. New rule for my life. Anything that pushes my kid down, I'll make sure it falls on them instead. As for me, I was already building the file. Photos, dates, medical notes, names. This wasn't drama. It was a case file. CPS, police. First workday after the holidays. Not because I doubted, but because I like my footsteps to land loud. First, the sound of tickets ripping. Then, the silence of empty bank accounts. Next, the knock on their doors. After the holidays, I did what needed to be done. First stop, CPS. The caseworker, mid-40s, business casual, no nonsense, listened to me without blinking. Apparently, I wasn't the first parent to show up after a festive family gathering turned into a hazing ritual. I put the photos on her desk, the medical report, a flash drive with Ruby's recorded statement. She nodded. That's enough. This is child abuse. We'll check the households where kids live. A few days later, CPS showed up at Bianca's house and Logan's. I wasn't there, but I can picture it. My family's faces when a government employee calmly told them, "You're now under state supervision. Do this again, you lose custody." To them, I'm the witch. On paper, they're at-risk families. Honestly, I prefer the second label. I knew CPS had been by when the calls started. Bianca first, shrill, hysterical. What have you done? CPS came to my house. They're making me take parenting classes. I have a college degree. Why would I need their stupid classes? So they can explain that you don't write on a child's face or hang cardboard signs on their chest, I told her. Then Logan, yelling like a man on fire, "Because of you, CPS came here. My wife's pregnant. Do you get what this means? They're going to monitor us now." "Yeah," I said. "That's called accountability. Sad it took state oversight for you to learn the word." My parents, tag-teaming the call. "You've disgraced the family. You aired our dirty laundry. The neighbors think we're monsters now." "No," I said. "You disgraced yourselves. I just stopped covering for you." Then came the police. I filed a report. Because CPS supervision is one thing, criminal charges are another. I laid it all out. Who held Ruby's arms, who hung the sign, who wrote on her forehead. And yes, it matters. When a child whispers, shaking, "Grandma wrote, Auntie hung it, Grandpa held me, Uncle held me," that's not a family quarrel. That's assault on a minor. I wasn't there for their interrogations, so I don't know what excuses they tried, but I know the outcome, because they called me. First my mother, voice trembling with rage. "What are you doing to us? They dragged us into the station, questioned us like criminals. We're branded now." I said, calm as ice. "I just told them about your parenting style. Shocker, turns out it's illegal." Bianca next, practically screeching, "They fined me! Where am I supposed to get that kind of money?" "Not from me," I said. Then Logan, furious. "You dragged us into a police case. I have a record now. Do you get it? A record." "Yeah," I said. "You've got a record. And Ruby had liar on her forehead. Spot the difference?" Even my dad weighed in. "They fined us. $250. Are you happy now?" "Very," I said. "Honestly? Cheap price for what you did." Later, I got the paperwork myself, a copy of the police order. Valerie, my mother, and Bianca, $500 fines each, plus mandatory positive parenting and anger management classes. Todd, my dad, and Logan, $250 fines each, plus official warnings for child endangerment. And all of them, a permanent record in the system. Not erasable. Not forgotten. They kept calling, leaving voicemails and emails, throwing curses and pity parties. "You ruined our reputation. Now everyone knows. Teachers look at us like we're diseased." I answered once. "You earned it." Then I stopped responding. One afternoon, I went to pick Ruby up from her art class. Out front, I saw Nolan holding court with a pack of boys, bragging like he'd just won a trophy. It was epic! I pushed her and she got punished. Everyone believed me. They always believe me. I'm good at it. I can even teach you. I froze. There it was. The family legacy in a 9-year-old body. A kid who already knows how to lie, manipulate, and laugh about it. And instead of rage, I felt something else. Relief. I never doubted Ruby, but now I had proof from his own mouth. She'd never lied. Not once. I didn't confront him. Didn't need to. Just looked at him and thought, "Thanks, Bianca. Thanks, Mom. You raised exactly what you deserve." They called Ruby the family disgrace. But the disgrace? That's them. And now it's written not in Sharpie across a child's forehead, but in their police records. That night, Ruby and I baked cookies and argued over who sang Christmas songs worse. She laughed so hard her cheeks turned red, and with every laugh, the weight of the last weeks lifted off me. We're good now, just us two, and it's enough. So, what do you think? Did I do the right thing cutting them off, going to CPS, and taking it all the way to the police? Or should I have handled it differently? I'd really love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and if this story spoke to you, hit subscribe.